this clip on the web show, and it is a great idea on behalf of the Gold Coast Bulletin and Business Gold Coast. It was the Rescue Patrol for 2009, and some of the best brains on the coast meeting at Griffith University to get together. They all gave up their time for a Friday afternoon. The best leaders in the fields of entertainment, business development, tourism, education, law and order, environment and lifestyle. It was just awesome to see a room full of these sort of people, including the Mayor of the Coast. And like I said, everyone giving up their time and come up with two ideas, one that can be actioned straight away and a long-term vision plan that can help the Gold Coast in these uncertain times. And what happened was everyone was going to break up into their different groups, spend an hour together and talk about different ideas, about ways to help the coast. Of course, one of the best places in the world, not being biased. But it was great to be there with the home video camera and to be walking around checking out the different groups. And first up, it was the entertainment group.
We want to come up with a consensus of two ideas. I'm sure there'll be plenty more, but I think as a group we need to come up with one in each of those categories that can be delivered.
Yeah, so there's Steve Howard there, the table leader for the entertainment group, and Michael Searle and Clive Mensink, of course the Gold Coast Titans and the Gold Coast United soccer team about to launch, and the other leaders of the entertainment and sports group having their say, talking about all kinds of different issues.
We've had Forex Beach cricket here, we've had sports events, we've had cultural events. And when you talk to the police, it is hard work.
Doing things that you want to do are so difficult that it's become almost impossible. Health and safety regulations, police regulations.
It seems the prevailing attitude is how not to do something rather than I'll find a way for you to do it.
Yes.
It was a 10-day festival of sport and entertainment during the winter time. So the people from Cape Town and Johannesburg and Pretoria, where the weather was terrible during the winter time, in Durban it's perfect, as it is here. And we erected a temporary setup along the beachfront for that 3-week period, and we played all types of sports on the beach. So it covered beach soccer with a $5,000 prize, it covered touch rugby, it covered beach volleyball. We erected wooden cabins. Okay, all the way along the beachfront, and those were rented out to vendors and to retailers. We had concerts on the beach. We allowed entertainers to go and display their wares and to put on shows. And it drew hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people.
It needs to be fun and an exciting place. That's what the Gold Coast is. And I was insisting on, that's kind of where the entertainment part, I suppose, came into from my point of view, was we wanted something, we want it to be fun. We don't want to be walking around with our jaws on the ground thinking, isn't this terrible? What are we going to do about creating jobs? Let's make it an exciting place.
Yeah, so there's an example from one of the groups, the entertainment group, keeping in mind there were 8 other groups all meeting around the university at the same time, sharing all their different thoughts about issues and coming up with ways to help the Gold Coast. So I thought I'd pop into the environment group and check out what was happening.
Green that corridor, not just for the tourists and the visitors that come, but for all the locals.
There's so many beautiful animals that need that natural vegetation and that too, that's been taken away. And I've got a saying, it's because of China. Do you want to wake up one morning and not hear or wake up to the sounds of the birds?
What we have to do is we have to educate here, but we also have to sustain an industry. So what we've got to do is we've got to get an education going through the community and visitors that come.
My 12-month to 2-year plan was about introducing through News Limited a national environmental awards, and that will lead on from all this education that we're doing and raising awareness, and all of the politicians are talking about this green revolution will lead us out of the economic woes that we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, so it's great to see a lot of Gold Coasters coming up with different ideas and being so passionate about change and making a positive impact on the Gold Coast, particularly the crew from the construction and development group.
Council kept raising infrastructure charges, landlords kept raising rents because of demands. As real estate agents, we kept putting higher values on properties. Value was agreed, sometimes disagreed, but at the same time, that was what it was all about. We're all making money, okay? So, and the end user, the person who came here, was loving us because they were climbing up the ladder. Two things in my view have to happen. One, infrastructure charges overall have got to come back in line, and as the development industry, we have to be more responsible in what we advise our clients to do.
Yeah, so unfortunately I couldn't be in all 8 rooms at the same time with the camera, but it was great just roaming around, popping in and filming what was going on, particularly the Law and Order group, talking about the police and of course the youth of the Gold Coast, and some fascinating points being made in this one, such as this.
There are a lot of people in our community that could be wonderful mentors for youth, and they've got nothing to do with sports. They've got to do with community help. I mean, and we do put a big thing in Australia on our sports legends. I never call them the heroes because they haven't done anything heroic. But I think, yes, we do need mentors for these young kids that are coming through court systems and out of schools and come from dysfunctional families. And I think we can source that more in our community groups that we have.
So there's a quick example of some of the topics that were being discussed in the different groups. Of course, the Rescue Patrol of 2009 was the initiative of the Gold Coast Bulletin and Business Gold Coast, and thanks to Griffith University for hosting out there. What happened was the leaders of the groups were picked, and they came back and reported to the whole group their idea for a fast-track idea and a long-term plan idea. And it was pretty fascinating stuff to be there in one afternoon, hearing the different people, experts in their fields, gathering all the information and then sharing it with everybody back in the main group. Everyone, I'm sure, pretty fascinated by what these groups came up with, and hopefully some of these initiatives can be acted on. The Gold Coast Bulletin have promised to follow it all up, and I'm sure that they will do a great job in doing that. Of course, the economic crisis is affecting everything worldwide, but it was great to see that the Gold Coast is being proactive and making sure we can do all we can, picking all the best of the brains in the room and working out how we can get through it all together. But it was great at the end to catch up with the editor of the paper. Editor of the Gold Coast Bulletin, how are you?
Good, mate, how are you?
Good, thank you. How did this all come about today?
It actually came about from a few people having the same idea at the same time, and we got talking about where the Gold Coast needed some direction and some leadership, and we felt the Gold Coast has got a history of doing its own thing, so we felt we should lead it.
A great initiative. You must be pretty brain dead now, though, hearing all those ideas and the end of it.
I am, actually, and you throw in we've had the state election here this week as well, so it's all come together in the 1 week. So it's been a pretty long week, 12-hour days most days. But you know, it was all pretty upbeat today, so I'm energised by it today.
How do you find being in charge of a paper like the Bulletin? I mean, it's something that's just the Gold Coast tradition, people getting up and reading that, so it must be a pretty cool job.
It's the best job in the world, without a doubt. I love it. I really love what I do. I love the people I work with. I love the paper, what the paper does, and I love the city it serves.
All right, well, thank you.
No worries, mate. Thank you.